Today, as we begin this liturgy outside and we commemorated how many have welcomed Jesus into Jerusalem as the Messiah, but then we read the Gospel and we see the unfolding of the full events of what took place. The full events include, one, not only the welcome, but also rejection. Rejection by the rulers, by the priests, by people, because they expected someone else. They wanted to see a military leader, a great leader that would be leading the nation just like David was. And he's somewhat different. He's the one who's compassionate, heals, he even restores life like he raised Lazarus from the dead. But it's very different figure. We read this morning the first reading, and the first reading is from Isaiah. This reading was written 600 years before the birth of Christ. 600 years. There's a mysterious figure called the suffering servant of Isaiah, suffering servant of God. And this suffering servant, kind of mysterious, but he's the one who's beaten, scourged, spat on, rejected, not even being able to recognize because he's so bruised. And it says, we did not know, but he's the one who carried the guilt of us all. He's the one who suffered. He's the one who took the sins away. 600 years before, we have this testimony by prophet Isaiah, who the Lord is. And this captures the Son of God, the one who has come, captures the reality of God who so loved the world that he gave his only Son. Isaiah says, although we didn't read it today, but because there are 3 chapters of that, and he says, by his wounds we were healed. By his wounds we were redeemed. That's why when we look at the gospel and we narrate the whole story, I know it's a lengthy gospel, and we read the gospel twice, not only today, but twice during liturgical year, where we read the whole, what is called the account of his suffering and dying for us today, and then on Good Friday we will always read from St. John, the gospel. Today we read, since the cycle C from Luke, because A, Matthew, B, Mark, and today was the cycle C, which is St. Luke. There are 2 things that we are to recognize. One, how great is his love, that he offered his Son, the Father's love, that he offers his Son. And he asked the Father right in the middle of his suffering, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. That those who were scourging him, that they did not know what they did. Yes, they did. They knew. They wanted to make him suffer, to inflict the most punishment upon him. But the fact is, they did not know that what they did is ultimately crucify the Son of God who died for us and for our freedom. That's number 1. But there's number 2, what do we see in this gospel? We see people who, on one hand, discouraging him, making him suffer, but there are also women who are there who have compassion upon him. And Jesus turns to them. In the gospel, we hear the various people who betray him, who denied him, who ultimately crucified him. But we have to look at each and one of us. We have all these things. Did we deny Christ? Yes, we have. Do we sin? Yes, we have. Do we feel for compassion for him? Yes, we do. Do we have compassion for others? Likewise. Have we hurt one another through words, rejections, canceling, whatever? Yes, we have. We have also welcomed them. All of us, within each one of our heart, if we read the gospel, the different people, the different roles they have performed during this suffering of Christ, they're all the dimensions within us. humanity which is broken by sin and yet destined for glory. And the gift that God has given to us through His Son is that He wants to heal the wounds. He wants to forgive us all the sins we have committed. He wants us to be with Him. He wants us to be sons and daughters of God, to share the glory, the future paradise. That's what the Lord wants. That's why He came to this earth. Yes, we have broken. We have been persuaded by evil one to reject God, to reject His forgiveness. But He would not let us be untended, to be forgotten. We became the lost sheep that He wants to find, and not only that, but He places on His shoulders. He wants to give us the gift of eternal glory. Every time we celebrate the Eucharist, by the way, the whole Passion is reenacted each time we celebrate. The whole Passion is reenacted. And ultimately the Lord not only suffers, dies, rises for us, but He wants to give us Himself as the body and blood, the nourishment that can restore our relationship with Him, the nourishment that sanctifies us, the nourishment that makes us whole. That's why we gather here, to not only reenact in the historical way, but to experience the presence of our Lord Jesus here, to experience His gift of Himself to us. Yes, He died. His body was broken. His blood was shed. And He makes this as a nourishment for us. That is why this week, let us ask the Lord to prepare our hearts to celebrate this most holy Triduum, that we may live in our hearts. I know we may be distracted by work, distracted by things around us, but that we may even steep ourselves into a suffering, dying, and rising for us, that our hearts may be more imbued with that sense of compassion, sense of love, but above all, a sense of union with Him. He died for us that we may have life. For God so loved the world that He sent His only Son, so that whoever believes in Him may not perish, may not be condemned, may not be separated forever, but to be live with Him forever. And that's our joy, that's our hope, that's our faith. May this Holy Week then be that moment for us to be renewed in faith, that we may share in God's glory.